Hello there, my name is Jung and I'm the developer of IMXL Minecraft plugin. As explained in another video, our intention is to make learning fun as possible and also make it relatable and immersive so that learning is done more efficiently. As a reminder, we believe a student's positive experience is one thing that we will never give up. Therefore, please refrain from demotivating students and try to end each lesson with a positive feedback. I'm going to explain about our Minecraft plugin, what it is and how to use it as a teacher. And hopefully by the end of this tutorial you will be ready to use it in your lessons. But please keep in mind that practicing sufficiently prior to your first lesson to familiarize yourself with its functions is very important. As you can see on the screen, you will need a copy of Minecraft Java Edition running on your computer. It's very important that teacher and students all use the same version that our plugin supports, or it is very likely that the lesson will not go as intended. The version that must be used will change over time depending on what we support. May not be the latest, but we will try to use the latest for obvious reasons. Now let's take a look at what the plugin does, what it looks like, and go through its features one by one. Before we do that though, for those who are not that familiar with Minecraft, let me show you how to start the game or the lesson. First, you must select multiplayer from this main menu and then add server and change the name to IMXL English lessons. Well, this can be you can change it to whatever you like, but it's important that you recognize it easily so that you know which server to join prior to starting the lesson. The server address for now is 211.177.118.25. This might change in future, but for now you must enter it exactly as it is and then press done in order to save it. Once you save this server address, it will show up in this menu and you can either double click it or press this play button in order to join the server. Please also note that even if it says can't connect to server, it might just be the case that it's not refreshed, and although it may be in progress or it may show X, you might just as well just try joining it because sometimes it's just not refreshed. For me though, I am not actually using this address, so it won't show up. I am using localhost, so let me just join this server, which is exactly the same as the one we'll be using for the actual lessons. So this is what it looks like, the Minecraft IMXL plugin. Before we get into it though, let me show you what the components that make up these plugins are. Let me go back to Google Slide. The Minecraft server on the right hand side provides a common Minecraft environment for the lesson. That is, students and teachers will be in the same Minecraft server or the world so that they can interact or sometimes spectate students' view within the game. And teachers and students will be talking to each other on our Zoom-like platform, and please keep in mind that lessons will be recorded automatically when participants speak, mainly for analyzing student speech data. We currently don't have an option to disable recording of teacher screen, but this will be supported in the near future. We will not be going through teachers' recording unless it's absolutely necessary. Therefore, if you have a problem with automatic recording functionality, and I hope you are okay with it, but you may choose not to provide lessons. In order to facilitate lessons in Minecraft, IMXL Minecraft plugin is used. The purpose of the plugin's feature can be summarized as: first, provide lesson material for teachers and students. That is, what to say and how to ask the student. And as a side note, the plugin is still at an early stage of development, and a lot more lesson-related features will be added. And secondly, control students so that you and the student can go through the lesson material. For now, it is intended to be used in one-on-one lessons only, although we will improve it so that the lesson can accommodate more students. Minecraft lessons will take place remotely on individual computers, meaning that you can work at home, and teachers and students, however, need to connect to the same IMXL teaching server. Without much further ado, let's take a look at the plugin's features. First of all, although you must enter a command to start the lesson, Without much further ado, let's take a look at the plugin's features. First of all, you must enter a command to start a lesson. This is always preceded by PECMD and then the lesson number. We'll be using 30 in this tutorial. If you're not yet familiar with entering commands in Minecraft, all you have to do is press / on your keyboard, just like I've done, which will bring up the console where you can type in commands, as you can see here, and enter the command and press enter to execute the command. Once you enter PECMD 30, our IMXL Minecraft server will send the lesson data to you and the students, which you will see in the console. And as you probably noticed, you will also get teleported to the lesson location, to the starting point, which is first of many locations within Minecraft that will be used during the lessons. These locations, called sections, as you can see here, are very important and must not be missed or skipped. They contain lesson material typically for conversing with a student, as well as automated commands that cause in-game effects such as lightning, giving items, or books or students for game storytelling. This is the screen you will see as a teacher, and please note that the part of the screen where you see lesson material is actually generic to Minecraft, mainly used for chatting, therefore called Minecraft chat screen, meaning it will be shared with other plugins. So for example, there will be some text, such as these, which are not part of the plugin that we are using. We can disable these at a later stage, but they are left so that they're actually helpful debugging messages. So please do keep in mind that they will go away at some point, but then again, some we might leave in. IMXL Minecraft plugin's main feature is the menu that is displayed here, and it consists of 3 parts. Let me go back to Google Sheets for this. Right, before I get into details, because the teacher dashboard is shown in Minecraft chat screen as mentioned earlier, please note that these menu will be continuously shown repeatedly. So for example, here you will see exactly the same menu here and here. This is because the menu, as I said, is repeatedly shown, and these all scroll upwards. So you might need to scroll up or down in order to see the menu that you are trying to use. Right, the first part is where the sections are, and these sections, as mentioned earlier, are locations within the Minecraft lesson, and they are represented by numbers starting from 0, and also you will see that these are either violet or yellow. The violet lesson sections, they all contain coordinates within this map or the world. So these represent locations within this map where you will converse with each student. And these yellow sections, these are actually sections that do not have coordinates, meaning you can use them at any point. And these are mostly for interacting with the environment or giving, for example, a horse so that students and teachers can travel faster, or certain items such as rings or elytras, they are called in Minecraft, so that student can fly down safely. So these yellow numbers or sections, they don't have any coordinates and you can use them at any point in the game or the lesson, but they are actually numbered because quite often than not, they are actually included in a sequence, meaning that this 8 is probably going to occur between 7 and 9, or at 7 or 9. So the numbers do actually quite often matter. Right. And please note that these violet sections, once you reach these sections, you will see later on they are actually labeled in the game so that you can see them. Students will be frozen at each of these points. This is so that students can focus on speaking with you or learning instead of trying to control Minecraft. We are actually using the slowness potion to the maximum limit so that it feels that it's not moving at all, but student might be moving extremely slowly, but it's so slow that it doesn't really matter. And also you can use these violet sections to teleport yourself and students. You might need to do this during the lesson because you might get lost, or you might get accidentally disconnected due to technical problems, and once you rejoin you don't want to start from zero, so you might want to start from where you left off or got disconnected, in which case you should remember how, which was the last section that you were using, and then just click it to teleport yourself, and then click on student teleport button, which I will go through later, so that you can resume from where you left off. Right, the second part of teacher's dashboard is where your name will appear next to this teacher in bold, and you will see that these menus in different colors, these are controlling yourself or removing enemies that might attack you and the student, and this is freezing at any point in the lesson. For example, if student is misbehaving or student need to actually go through some learning before he does any of the Minecraft stuff, you might want to freeze the student. And also the play mode, which is also in students menu. This is creative, adventure, survival mode, and spectator mode. And once again, if you're not familiar with these play modes, which are generic to Minecraft, you might want to go through tutorial and try it yourself, see what the differences are. And it's quite important, as you can see, that they are included in this rather short-listed menu. They are important so that perhaps you don't die in the game, or you might want to destroy some blocks, in which case you need to be in creative mode in order to manipulate blocks. In adventure survival you can't manipulate anything. In spectator mode the same. In spectator mode you can actually click on other players and see from their point of view, so that you can see exactly what student sees, for example. Okay, so lastly you have what looks fairly similar to teacher's menu, the student menu, but the difference, as you can see here, is that you have some numbers in blue and numbers in red. These numbers in blue represent points that you can give to students. So once you click one of these numbers, it's going to give student some points. These points will be used in stores, in shops, so that students can buy things like items that they might equip themselves before and after lessons, or some blocks they might use to build houses and stuff. And these red points, once you click them, it takes away points. So for misbehaving or anything that for any reason you want to take away points from students, you will use these menu. And this current, this is actually short for current section, obviously shows which section is the one that should be followed. And done, this will list number of sections that's been done, and it's always preceded by the current section. So for example, if student for some reason stops a lesson midway and then need to continue, for example in section 13 in the next lesson, you might want to skip all these and teleport to 13 and then start from there. And what you will see is that first, when the student joins, you will see nothing here, but once you click 14 and teleport to student, you will see 0 to 13 as done. It might be hard to understand at this point, but I believe it's going to get a lot clearer once you see it yourselves in the real live screen. So this is what you'll see once you enter the PEC command. This is the real Minecraft screen, and this is the starting point. Therefore it will be section 0, and as I mentioned earlier, if you hover over a section, it will show the text that you might want to say to a student, or you might want to ask the student to say, and also command. For example, in this case, it has both the speech and command, and it's a command to summon a horse with a saddle. So if I click it, what happens is that you are teleported to the coordinates of section 0, and also summon a horse, as you just saw just now. And so once you have these sections, you can always use them to teleport to any of these sections except for yellow ones, as I mentioned earlier, which do not have any coordinates. These are just commands, purely commands or speeches that do not have coordinates. So let me give you an example of how you teleport you first, and then you might want to, this is a student, these names they will always be in English. This is a test account. You can teleport student by using this TP for this. It should be just underneath this student name. If you press this button, then student is teleported. And once again, whenever a student goes to a section, to a coordinate or near a coordinate, he or she will be frozen using slowness potion, and also jump potion is used. So the student can only move his or her head around. You can probably see this you can see these bubbles rising up. This is because of those spells. So you should not unfreeze him or her unless the student satisfy what's necessary in this section. In this case, if you look at the menu again, and you can always look at this chat screen, which has the menu, by pressing T for talking, and you can hover, for example, the current section, which is 4, right? So if you hover 4, this is the conversation that you should be having with the student. And once the student has done, whatever is needed satisfactorily, then you give him or her a point, depending on, this might change. I mean, it might have more numbers, but anyway, you can press 5, for example, and you will see a firework above student's head that will indicate, the point was successfully given to the student. And after that, student can move freely, which means he and she can go to the next point. And as I mentioned earlier, all these sections have these numbers within Minecraft. so that you can see, when you're playing, when you're walking around, you should be able to see these numbers and go there. And in case student, for example, goes to 5 and skip 4, he or she will not be frozen at 5 because that's not, it's not in sequence. So you should direct student to go to 4. So the lessons are done in order, right? And you can see here that current 5. Also, if you hover it, you can see the text, and also you can hover these as well to see what the texts were. And one useful feature is to use the Spectator menu, and you can spectate this student, for example, by pressing this pink button. Here, you cannot move unless student moves. So you see whatever student sees, and you can also just press unspec to go back to whatever mode you were on. I think maybe it might be that you go to creative mode all the time. I need to check, but the point is that you can always see what the student is saying. For example, when he or she runs into a problem of some sort, or it might be the case that you might want to help him or her by seeing exactly what he or she sees, and indicate perhaps on screen what he or she should be doing. And in spectator mode, as you are probably aware, you can go through walls, so it might be the case that you might want to travel more easily, and you want to go into spectator mode. Oh, important difference between this and that, this and this, is that this spec is obviously for you to change into spectator mode only. What this does though, you get into spectator mode as well as spectating automatically this student. So if you have more students, you can choose to spectate each student at a time. And if you press any of these play mode under student name, it will change obviously the student's play mode. Right, I think briefly I've gone through everything. I believe you will have a practice run with Nick, and I hope things will be a lot more clearer once you get to use it or practice it. I hope you guys have fun with students. Obviously English learning is a very important goal here, but at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, having fun with children is just as important. So please have fun, and thank you very much for your time.